As we all know, Jake Paul is one of the biggest shit stains on the YouTube community. He's proved this time and time again with many controversies, scandals, and crimes. And now, unfortunately, he's not just representing the YouTube community, he's representing the boxing community, and he's humiliating them as much as he possibly can. This is one of the few instances in which you'll see Jake Paul in the wild, unable to edit out his mistakes and make himself seem any semblance smarter than he is in reality. But for those who don't know, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, the two big brothers on YouTube, really got a hard on for boxing lately, so they've been in the boxing game a lot, and Jake Paul happens to have a fight coming up very soon, and he had a press conference with his opponent prior to the match, and it's just truly beautiful how dog shit every word that comes out of his mouth is.
This guy's striking is that of a grandma, quite literally. If I put a grandma in against Jorge Masvidal, she would have lasted longer than this guy.
I heard you the first time, Jake, and it rang true even harder the second time you said that he was weaker than a grandma. Very impressive wordplay. Also, I love how he's trying to use really proper and, considerate language. Like, Jorge is that of, and how he strikes weaker. It sounds way more fancy than the jism that Jake Paul usually spits out of his mouth.
He's a good athlete, they say, but April 17th, he's going to get exposed.
You really got to appreciate how Jake Paul is trying to level the playing field, talking about exposing. It's part of his home territory. He's been exposed many times, so he knows a lot about it. And I do have to give Jake Paul props for one thing. I personally would not be able to stare hot Squidward down and say these things to him. I'd be too scared. I'd be jizzing in my pants in that moment.
This is boxing versus MMA, and you're going to see the difference. You're going to see the difference of a wannabe fighter, a guy who choked in the Olympics, a guy who choked in the UFC, and now a guy who's going to choke against Jake Paul.
Before I say anything else, I just want to point out the butterfly being bequeathed from Jake Paul Sama's loins. But despite the miracle of childbirth, I think it's really important to point out how Jake Paul just said a bunch of very impressive feats that his opponent has reached, and then all he had to say about himself was, "You're fighting Jake Paul." Like, oh, the Olympics are all cool, but you're gonna fight against Jake Paul. What a bitch. It's impressive how incoherent this guy's sentences are. The only thing that comes out of his mouth is the piss from a dog that hasn't had water in 2 weeks, which just so happens to be the color of his hair.
I'm going to end this guy's career as an embarrassment. Masvidal did it once, I'm about to do it again.
Jake Paul Sama really did just call himself an embarrassment. It's like a Pokemon attack. Oh, he hurt himself in confusion. But sadly, it's not as cool as Pokemon. It's just a man-child talking to Michelangelo's David on stage.
He kind of came up in his brother's shadow. He was trying to fill his brother's footsteps. His brother is a lot more talented, has a larger following. Those type of things. Is he?
That's like calling Kylie Jenner Kendall Jenner.
I don't know anything about them.
Yes, Jake Paul finally showed his true form, talking about Kendall Jenner. I just want to say Kendall Jenner's one of her workers recently had to have a really important surgery, and she implored her fans to donate to the worker so she didn't have to pay part of her billion-dollar estate to it. Just to show you the smooth brain people that he references.
Anyway,
doesn't matter. Still a compliment.
Okay.
I would love to be Logan. Logan's a great kid. Both stars, both taking over the world at a young age.
Okay, so
he's trying so hard to get grasp of the situation. He wants to be in control so bad. He's barely letting this dude speak. He's let him say about 10 words, but with those 10 words, he's taken more control of the conversation than Jake Paul Sama has. And I love how Jake Paul just added his own point into the other dude's point. Like, the dude said nothing about Kendall Jenner, but then Jake Paul Sama said it was a compliment because he was referencing Kendall Jenner as Jake Paul. This guy's a fucking lunatic.
when Logan's little brother called me out, and I thought, well, from his angle, what's he doing? And I asked some of my kids at my academy, what's this guy all about? And they said he's a bully, he's a dick. And so I think from his angle, it's like, he's thinking, who's the easiest guy that I can pick that'll give some validity to my name? It's like, I'm gonna pick the guy who just had a surgery, who's retired, sitting on the couch.
If I wanted to pick the easiest guy, I would have picked Dylan Dennis.
Well, we know
Dylan
Dennis said no. We know
the contract.
I agree.
You actually had the balls to sign the contract. So if I wanted the easiest guy, I would have picked Dylan.
Honest to God, I truly don't understand what Jake's trying to do right here. Wouldn't he want to say that the dude he's about to fight is the easiest guy? Wouldn't he want to spit in his face like that? But no, he's saying that he's stronger and he's not the weakest one that he would have picked if he just wanted to show off.
Jake, you did pick Dylan. We know that. I've already went over that. You picked Dylan. I know he wouldn't do
But
it.
you just said I picked you.
Because Dylan wouldn't say yes, dum-dum.
You
I tried
choking
to
on your
explain
words,
this to
Bubba?
you. You picked
You choking
Dylan.
on your words, Bubba?
If this were World War II, this would be the invasion of Normandy. This would be D-Day. This is when all hell was let loose. He called Jake Paul a dum-dum. This is when the fight came to the 5th grade playground. They started calling each other bad names. Dum-dum, Bubba, started slurring together sentences. This is my favorite part of the video. This part of the video shows Jake Paul talking the fastest that I've ever seen him talk. It really shows his level of mental processing.
You picked Dylan. Dylan wouldn't sign the contract. Therefore, you can't fight Dylan, so you have to pick the next person. Because Dylan wouldn't sign a contract. Well, I'm trying to wait for you to stop talking. Oh,
Oh, Jesus Christ, call 911. This guy's choking. I really don't know what Jake was trying to do here. He just gave up. He talked too fast. His engine was on full throttle. It was turning red from the heat, and he couldn't take it anymore. The engine being his brain, and the heat of the engine being the amount of wrinkles it has. Not many.
okay. So anyways, like this is typical bully behavior, but obviously sometimes
This is the
bully
fucking
picks
fight
the wrong
game.
person.
This is the fucking fight game. You pussy ass bitch. This is the fucking fight game. Yeah, I'll bully you around just like I'm gonna bully you in the ring. Shut the fuck up.
Jake Sama, I'll hold you back. You went too hard there. You spent about 1 second thinking of an insult before you gave up and called him a pussy-ass bitch. You need to calm down. You can't push yourself that hard, Jake Sama. I just want to reaffirm that somebody this stupid is a millionaire. Somebody that can barely piece together a sentence. Somebody that can barely think of an insult before giving up and just saying the most basic bad words. It's truly sad. Also, while we're looking at a picture of this gnome, I just want to say I stream daily on twitch.tv/jollyolfun. The link's in the description. Stop on by if you ever want to make me have a jolly old smile on my face. I know you can tell from my voice, but I'm a very emotional person. And no, I'm not copying Moist Critical. This is just how my voice sounds. Also, it's 10:30 at night and it's a school night.
You sound like a middle schooler. Oh, he's bullying me. Shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry, Jake Sama, but I have to correct you on this one. You both actually sound like elementary schoolers, you Bert and Ernie looking motherfucker.
Now, I was talking to your mentality. You're not gonna bully me. That's not gonna happen. And you know, like Jake, if you and I ran into each other in the back alley in Las Vegas, and I wanted to do a homicide,
Do it right now then. We're
Ah.
running into each other right now. Come on.
someone's gonna stop you. You got like 27 people.
Oh, big man, I'm terrified. I'm quaking in my boner right now. I just want to point out this dude's fit. He's wearing pink cowboy pants with the shin tassels with Timbs and a raggedy, ripped up button-up shirt. I really don't know what to call it. It really looks pitiful. Makes me want to buy some of his god-awful merch and mail it directly to his P.O. box so we can have something at least decent to wear. Also, one extra thing since I'm on a roll, Jake Paul's Timbs are giving him an extra 2 inches of height. I'm sure he wouldn't be so ballsy if he was at his stature of 5'9" or whatever he is. Not to mention, I'm really impressed that he looks like he's ready to drop trow right there and beat his dick off right onto the other guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Big
so,
vein.
anyways, I would do a homicide on you if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this. That's what I came for. Jake thinks he's a high-level boxer. I think he's fairly delusional. I guess we'll find out.
You will find out very quickly and in a violent fashion, and you will embarrass the sport of MMA.
This is a beautiful trope that Jake Paul Sama decided to end on, ending where you started off. He started with the proper English, he ended with the almost proper English. He only said one word wrong, which is a record high for him. But yeah, I don't have much else to say. I don't have any more roasts left in my pot, so I'm just going to leave it here. I just think Jake Paul is truly a disgrace on any community he happens to join, and he embarrasses the mass majority of the people within it. And thankfully, he's moving farther away from the YouTube community and more to the boxing community, so we don't have to deal with him much longer. Not that I'm a YouTuber or in the YouTube community or anything, but if you want to help me get into that community, don't be afraid to subscribe and like the video. You don't have to. I'm doing this for fun, but I might. You can make the. Oh my God! There's a giant bug. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, but anyway, I'm doing this for fun. But if you want to invest on the early, very volatile stock that is my channel, go ahead. I'd be very happy with that. Peace.